Welcome back, student. In the previous lecture we have gone through the stable multivibrator using op-amp, and in this lecture we will talk about relaxation oscillator using op-amp. So basic concept about relaxation oscillator is already clear to you in the last lecture. Let's look at once again diagram. I will repeat the circuit diagram of this op-amp. In this circuit, look at this. The capacitor, the external capacitor is connected to the inverting input of the op-amp with the non-inverting input terminal connected across voltage divider bias of R1 and R2. This voltage divider bias will assure VLT and VUT voltages that will be applied at the positive. So that is the reference voltage. So reference voltage will be decided by this R1 and R2 resistor, and this R resistor will decide the charging along with this capacitor. R and C will decide charging and discharging time of the capacitor. Now there is also connected the Zener diode. This Zener diode will decide whether they will be forward bias or reverse bias, and as you all know, when the Zener diode is reverse bias, it acts as a voltage regulator, and when it is forward bias, it acts as a normal regular diode. So in this case, this diode, see, let's assume that initially your op amp is at plus V saturation. If it is at the plus V saturation, your Zener diode 1 Z1 will be forward bias, so it will act as a normal diode, but your Z2 is reverse bias. So Z2 acts as a voltage regulator, and the voltage across the Zener diode will act as a output voltage, but this is plus to minus. So this is calculated as plus V output is equal to plus VZ2. Now in another case, when your op amp, you consider it as, I will just delete this, when your op amp is in the minus V saturation, when it is in the minus V saturation, your Z1 will be reverse bias, whereas your Z2 will be forward bias. So the output voltage will be decided by reverse bias Z2, but look at the polarity, it is minus to plus during minus V sat, and because of this minus V sat, your output voltage will be minus VZ1. Because we are taking output voltage across ground and V out, and your V out is at minus V sat, your cathode of this diode is connected to the positive polarity, that's why it will be minus VZ1. So it will be decided by this Zener diode connection, and your Zener diode 2, when it is at the minus V sat, will act as a forward bias, and it will act as a normal diode. So op amp as the relaxation oscillator basically is a square wave generator. Here also the frequency of the oscillation is determined by the charging and discharging of the capacitor, as that of we have gone through in the astable multivibrator. The figure below represents op amp relaxation oscillator. Let's understand the next concept of this. The circuit generates a square wave. At its output, as we can see that the circuit is composed of a capacitor, an op amp, resistor, and two Zener diodes. Here the op amp comparator utilizes positive feedback in order to increase the amplifier gain. The high gain of the op amp causes the output of the op amp to switch rapidly between the one level to other level. Okay. Now see, the positive feedback provided to the op amp fed some part of the output to the non-inverting input terminal. As usual, also the capacitor voltage is provided to inverting input terminal of the op amp. Now let's assume that, let's go back to this particular diagram. Okay, let's understand, this is a V in. You already know that V in is equal to voltage at the non-inverting minus voltage at the inverting. Now what is the voltage at the inverting? It is Vc, so V plus minus Vc. But what is the voltage given at this non-inverting input terminal? It is R2 divided by R1 plus R2 into V output, right? So we will assume that value as V output is equal to R2 divided by R1 plus R2, or voltage at inverting V plus, okay, V plus as R2 upon R1 plus R2 V naught. So if we can consider this as beta, so this will become V plus will become beta into V naught is equal to V plus. So V plus is replaced by beta into V naught. So the same circuit we will see in this equation. Okay, so V in is equal to Vc minus beta into V out, or we can consider V in as beta V out minus Vc. It doesn't make any difference. Okay, so difference between the voltages which are applied at the non-inverting and inverting op amp terminal. So in this case, now try and understand, when the input voltage of V in is positive, then the output voltage, obviously when the V in is positive, that means you are at the more voltage is at the non-inverting input terminal and less voltage is at the inverting input terminal. Therefore your output voltage will be minus VZ1. Why minus VZ1? As I told you, the VZ2 will be forward bias and VZ1 is the reverse bias. So V out is equal to minus VZ1. While when the input voltage V in is negative, then output voltage will be V out is equal to VZ2. I will once again take you back to this diagram. I will explain you. If V in is positive, okay, if V in is positive, that means voltage at the non-inverting is more than voltage at the inverting. Your op amp will be in the positive V saturation. If it is in the positive V saturation, this will act as a reverse bias, and then voltage across that will be VZ1 or VZ2. And when it is reverse bias or V in is less than your where input voltage is greater than your less than your capacitor voltage, at that time it will be minus VZ2. So the same thing we can understood by this particular diagram. Okay, so once again I will repeat. When the input voltage is positive, then output voltage will be V out equal to minus VZ1, whereas when your input voltage V in is negative, then the output voltage will be V out equal to plus VZ2. Let for the particular time input of the terminal of the op amp is negative or less than 0, so in this case output voltage will be V out equal to plus VZ2. This causes the output at the non-inverting input terminal to be beta into VZ2. This equation we have already gone through. Hence the capacitor start discharging exponentially with VZ2 till the time Vc is equal to beta times VZ2. The voltage at the output will remain at VZ2. Now output of the comparator gets reversed at minus VZ1. This causes the charging of the capacitor with minus VZ1, thereby causing the transition from minus VZ2 to VZ1. So here also the charging and discharging phenomena of the capacitor determines the time period of the output waveform. Okay, so the figure below shows the output and capacitor waveform of the op amp relaxation oscillator. So let's look at this particular diagram. See, beta into V out was our upper threshold, minus beta into V out was our lower threshold, and this is our V out waveform. Okay, either it will be my plus V saturation or minus V saturation, depending on that your charging and discharging of the capacitor happens, something like this. Okay, so its concept is also same as that of Schmitt trigger, where we have gone through and we understood the square waveform is converted into triangular, and this plus V saturation and minus V saturation voltage which are available at the operational amplifier output will be used for the charging and discharging of the capacitor, and this is the same application, or which is we call non-linear application. The circuit of the op amp relaxation oscillator is also known as a stable multivibrator. One of the circuit we have already gone through, as the circuit holds two quasi-stable states, hence the signal performs the transition between these two states, thereby generating the square wave signal at the output. Okay, and what are the applications of this relaxation oscillator? They are used for the internal clock signaling of any digital circuitry. These are also used in the application of thyristor triggering circuit in the oscilloscope as well as television or receiver, etc. So that's it about this relaxation oscillator, or one of the non-linear applications of the op amp. Thank you very much and happy learning.